Hey everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Yesterday, or the other day, we made this part, the top part of our Designs by Juju design we're working on. I think this is a fabulous one because at the end of this month is Memorial Day, and then comes 4th of July, and of course it is a election year. So I think this is a perfect one to be making as a wall hanging. If I made it bigger, it could even go on my front door, my door that's near the front of my house. But anyway, we're going to work on block B today. So if you follow along, when I did this on our Facebook group, you saw how I made the blocks and put them each in their own little baggie so not to get confused. So all we need today is a block B. So let's look at Embrilliance in just a sec. Before that, I wanted to show you the shirt I have on. Kind words are like honey. And it's actually a Bible verse, Proverbs 16:24. And the reason why I'm showing that is because tomorrow, I hope it's tomorrow, I have to run to Joann's and get the supplies I need. But tomorrow, I'm going to make these free earrings that you'll see. Let me show you right behind me the design so you can pick it up if you want to. It's freestanding lace, and you might be interested in grabbing this thing, even if you don't want to make it into earrings. It could be put on a ribbon, maybe for a bookmark or something like that. So, or on a keychain. So let's check that out. Okay, here's where you get the freebie, and I'll have the link for you down below. It's Embroidery Library, B Charm, and it's lace. And there are two different sizes, and you can get them both for free, which I did. And when you download it, it'll ask you, well, if I want to download this, because I've already purchased it, it should ask me, yes, right here, it'll ask me which format I want to download it in. And of course, since I use a Brother machine, I would do the PES. You choose whatever machine you use here. And it has project instructions. And in the project instructions, if I look at that very quickly, it'll tell us what you need is water-soluble stabilizer like Vilene, which I don't think we have here in the US, or Sulky Ultra Solvy. So I went to Joann's and I purchased this. I will have a link for you down below in case you'd rather use my Amazon link to get it, which I appreciate it when you guys use my link. But I'm going to Joann's because I want to get it today. So let's get busy. Okay, let's get busy with what you came here for, the second block in our wall hanging stitch or sew along. So this is the first block if you look behind me here. And this is the one we did yesterday or the other day. Then that's a block A, the 5x7. And I just downloaded block B, the 5x7. When I opened it up again, it came in kind of wackadoodle because as you'll notice down here, there's this yellow mark. The yellow mark means, hey, that thing's going to fit in your hoop, but not the way you have it oriented, not the way you have it turned around. So what do I need to do? Just click on where it says hoop, double click on it, and it puts my hoop exactly the way I want it to be. So that's all that there is to this one. I'm going to love, I think, the way it's going to quilt the background this time. Remember on the first one it did like a meander? This time it's going to do these kind of diagonal lines. I think it's going to look really cool. So let's look. When the Stitch Simulator runs, okay, the first thing it's going to do, if we look up here, it's going to give us the line, the placement for the batting. Then we're going to cover this placement line with our batting, making sure all sides are completely covered, and then stitch the tack down for the batting. And then we'll trim the batting right up close to this, as it will be shown for you in both the instructions, and I'll show you as I do it. The next step is we're going to use this tack down of the batting as the placement for the background fabric. Now this block is only going to have one fabric in it. It's going to be the white background fabric. So I'll cover all this tack down with the background fabric, making sure all sides are covered. And I'm going to try to make it equal on all sides this time, unlike what I did yesterday. Because remember how my inch was a little bit off on that one bottom piece? So I'm going to put that over there, my fabric, and then stitch the tack down, which would be this blue right here. Now the next few steps will be doing all these pretty designs Okay, just to show this again, step number 1, this red right here, carmine red, that's going to be the placement stitch for your batting. Step number 2, this khaki color right here, this is going to be the tack down for your batting. It's also going to show you where to put your back fabric, your background fabric, okay? So you're not going to have a separate step for that. You're just going to know that you put your background fabric right over top of this tack down from your batting. Make sure that it's evenly distributed, not like what I did yesterday. Remember where there was that inch problem that I have at the bottom of that one block? Hopefully it's not going to cause a problem. But anyway, we did placement for batting, tack down for batting. That shows us where to put our fabric, tack down for fabric. Then after that, it starts the pretty embroidery designs. The first one being the background stitching or the quilting. And again, it's those neat diagonal lines. And then after that, it's going to start doing the other designs that are needed for the block. So let's go over to the machine and I'll show you this. Okay, I've already gotten my no-show mesh hooped up and I'm ready to go. I'm going to end the edit here and go to embroidery and do step 1. As you'll recall, step number 1 is going to show me where to put my batting. Next up, step number 2 is going to have me put my batting on top of this placement line, and then it will do the tack down line for my batting. After which I will be trimming it. So, let's hit this. And again, I'm using sticks rather than my fingers, just for safety. Okay, for this step, I'll take this out of the machine and go ahead and cut up close all over to the stitching line. And remember, we learned now that this stitching line, the tack down for my batting, shows me where I am supposed to place my fabric, my backing fabric. Now I do have a right side and a wrong side, so I want to make sure I have the right side up. I got this really pretty fabric. I don't know if you can see there's little stars on it. I thought that was perfect for this. So again, this time, instead of having it way over, I am going to make sure that this is properly aligned like that, so I don't mess up like I did last time. And this will be the tack down for the fabric. Okay, at this point, looking at the directions, it appears as though I do not trim that backing fabric at all. Recall that it says, use the tack down line for of the batting for the placement of the background fabric, which is what I just did. Cover the tack down line with the background fabric, making sure all sides are covered. I did that. Then I stitch the tack down. That's it. Then it goes on to step number 18 on here, which says the next few stitching steps are the quilt motif and decorative stitches. So I'm just going to leave that right in there. I have white already in my machine, so I'm going to hit go, and it's going to do 4 minutes worth of that diagonal stitching. Okay, the lovely quilting has finished. I think that's just beautiful. See the nice texture it adds? So the next step's going to be some of the decorative stitches, and it's going to start with red as the thread color. So let me remove this and thread my machine with the red. By the way, I always keep my threads in a big thing like this. I just think it's fun to look at all those colors. I'm thinking someday I might be able to figure out something to do with these. But for now, I'm just saving them. Okay, so I'm going to load this. I like to use a thread stand. This is a nice heavy-duty one, like this. I like to use this instead of putting the thread directly into my machine. So I'll thread this. Oops. And I'll continue. Okay, as you can see, I already have my silver, which they call light blue, threaded into my machine. But before I do that, I am going to come in here and clip some of these threads that are sticking up, just so they don't get caught under anything. It would be handy if I had my tweezers right now to help hold these up. I didn't have them right on hand, so just doing my best. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm ready with this silver to go ahead and do that part. And again, I'm using silver because recall on my first one, I did use silver. And something else I didn't do, and I'll do that right now, is one of the instructions said to trim away the excess stabilizer, and I did not do that for you yesterday. So I'm going to do it here now. Just trim this away carefully. It's not as easy when I'm holding it up in the air. But I can tell you that I'm not going to trim away this bit of stabilizer where I have that error, just in case I need it for some reason. So I'm not going to trim it away. I'm just carefully doing this. Excess stabilizer. You're supposed to do it, like I said, from all sides, but I'm not because of my mess up. So there we go, just like that. Okay, I'll meet you back here shortly when all of the stitching is done. I think I'll go ahead and do the darker blue after the gray is done, or the silver is done. Then I'll meet you back here. Okay, you guys, I have a bit of a dilemma here. Here's my first block, right? Here's my second block. I have one more color I'm supposed to do. I wonder if I should have done the light blue like they suggested. I've messed up yet again because I didn't really read it closely, I guess. But what I'm deciding I'm going to do is I'm going to make this next color red again, just because I have so much red up here. I think it will look okay if I put red down here again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Wish me luck. If I hate it, I can always redo this block, right? Okay, I gotta say, I don't hate it at all. I actually kind of like it. So what I'm going to do now is take this out of the hoop. And once it's out of the hoop, one of the things I'm supposed to do, as I didn't do before, was to trim away, and I think this is the next step. Let me double check. Let's see. Remove the block from the top and trim away excess stabilizer, and then trim the edges of the block so that each side is 1 inch from the outer stitching line. So first, I need to trim away the excess stabilizer. Putting my fingers right in there so I don't accidentally trim something I don't want to trim. Okay. Beautiful. That's going to go like that. Okay, and now let me get out my cutting board. Okay, because now I have to cut an inch away. I should have gotten a different ruler out. This one's a little bit hard to see, but I'll put this line, here's the stitching line right here, and I'm going to put the 1 inch line on that. Yeah, it's really kind of hard to see. There we go. Okay. Like that. I'm going to twirl this. And again, the outermost. So there it is. There. And then this block is done. I'm excited to do block number 3. And then I can't wait to see how these all fit together at the end. But now you can get an idea. Isn't that going to be pretty? Love it. Love, love, love it. So thanks so much for joining me. If you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Also join us on the Facebook group in case you missed the very, very first thing that talked about how I organized my pieces and I put them into the different baggies so that I would not get confused. So again, thanks for joining me. Remember to look at my links down below if you're in the market to buy something. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I really appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye for now.